The final set of awards in our award program this evening are the GSG Honors, and for that I'd like to welcome on stage from Pioneers Post, Mr. Tim West.
Well, good evening everybody. I'm honoured and delighted to be here. My name's Tim West and I'm a journalist. Now, in a room full of people dedicated to building positive impact, I'm aware that admitting I'm a journalist may sound more like a confession than a simple statement of fact about my profession. And indeed, there are a number of things that I need to confess to you. Firstly, like all journalists, I want to challenge your assertions and generally make a nuisance of myself. Secondly, be warned, I am also here to steal away your stories. Unlike most journalists, however, the publication I work for and I'm proud to have founded is a social enterprise itself. And our mission at Pioneers Post magazine is quite simple: to use the power of journalism and storytelling to help impact entrepreneurs and impact investors do good business better together. I'm also, unlike most journalists, the board director, one of the board directors of one of the UK's leading social investors, Big Issue Invest, which advises or manages about 170 million of funds, and so far has invested in about 330 social enterprises in the UK. Now, Pioneers Post is a pretty small organisation, but I like to think we have a big voice. We're UK-based, but we have readers in more than 60 countries now. And of course, our voice is not big because of our size, but because of the people that we channel and we give voice to. We give voice to the stories of social entrepreneurs and purposeful investors all around the world, and it's they who create the big voice. Now, I've been reporting on Sir Ronald's work in this space right back since 2000 at the launch of the UK's first social investment task force. And if you've been reading Sir Ronald's compelling new guide to the impact revolution, you will know that everybody has a role to play in this revolution. And he asked at the end of his guide, what will be your role? Well, every revolution needs stories and storytellers, and I'm happy that my role for the past decade, and I hope for the next decade, will be to help bring the different players in this revolution together through their stories, and your shared vision for leaving the world a better place than how you found it. And so to this evening's important proceedings and to the great stories of this year's GSG honorees. It's been a real thrill and honour to be invited to join GSG as the media partner for this year's honours. And I want to thank GSG and Amit and Meg especially for welcoming Pioneers Post into the GSG fold and giving us this opportunity. I also need to thank the British Council, especially Mari and Bella, who provide amazing support and partnership for Pioneers Post and our global storytelling programme. So to the honours, what is it that makes these honorees so special? Well, partly, it's their revolutionary spirit. Partly, it's their ability to show that risk, return, and impact can indeed work together and work well. But most importantly, I think their successes relate to something else that actually Hala from the B team reminded us about very powerfully in yesterday evening's panel session. Sometimes, she told us, we forget about our own humanity. Those whom we are honouring this evening are the positive disruptors who put us back in touch with our own humanity. They remind us that it is inhuman to pursue maximum profit at all costs. And they demonstrate to the skeptics, the cynics, the short-term thinkers, to the people who think it's somebody else's problem, and to those who think success is a license for greed, that being human is about recognizing that people and planet can and must sit alongside profit and prosperity as we consider how our actions will impact on future generations. Now, we have 4 awards tonight, and I'm going to ask each awardee to come up in turn to receive their award from Sir Ronald. So first up, it is the Impact Asset Owner of the Year, and I'm pleased to welcome Ian Simmons from Blue Haven Initiative.
My wife Liesl and I would like to thank you, Sir Ronald Cohen, for your leadership and the GSG for these honors. Liesl could not be here today, but Blue Haven is possible because of her valiance, vision, and values. At Blue Haven, we invest for profit and with purpose, with higher standards whenever possible, across all asset classes. But we stand on the shoulders of prior generations, and Liesl would like to thank her family. I need to acknowledge both my parents, who had long careers that advanced impact investing going back 40 years ago. 41 years ago, my mother was the first college president to divest from apartheid South Africa. And then she doubled down on impact entrepreneurs. We'd like to thank our entire team, including Lauren Cochran and Kelly Sheedy, now Kelly Escobedo, our investment committee, dozens of operating partners and investment advisors, including Taylor Jordan, John Goldstein, Brian Zagraki, Danielle Howard. We'd like to thank the GIN, GSG, Impact Assets, Social Finance, the Impact Tonic, the U.S. Impact Investing Alliance, and the U.S. SIF. And also our old friends Linda Steffens, the Caprock Group, and Jed Emerson especially. This is a work in progress. 6 years ago, Liesl and I started Blue Haven with a simple question: how can our family serve present and future generations? Since we still have so far to go, we see this award as an encouragement to go still further. Our most consequential challenge is at the core of GSG's mission. How can we work together to improve policy? To be at the highest standard of responsible investment, investors must lead in impact civics. Too many long-term asset owners still stand on the sidelines while inefficient carbon policy pollutes our planet. It is past time for all hands to be on deck. Ask investors about their plans to help improve policy. Our future depends on new allies. Many are stepping up, as rewriting the rules is exciting, vital work. As part of our own plan at Blue Haven, we just appointed a managing director for civics, Laura Santucci, who's here with us today and here to learn from you. We are grateful to the GSG for leading on this question. We are grateful for this honor. Together, we can continue to set smarter, stronger standards to achieve major positive change for present and future generations. Thank you.
And I'd like to welcome for the Impact Asset Manager of the Year Award, Leapfrog Investments, Dr. Andrew Cooper.
"20 years ago, I lived here in Delhi and in Rajasthan, trying to get farmers to adopt drip irrigation and failed. I failed because they wouldn't take the risk to adopt worthwhile technology to transform their lives. They had no protective financial services like insurance. 10 years ago and 10 days ago, I founded Leapfrog and launched it with President Clinton. We had two simple goals. Asset management, asset gathering, we thought would come along the way. The simple goals were this: reach 25 million low-income people with essential financial tools and generate top-tier returns. Today, 10 years later, Leapfrog's companies reach 140 million people, of whom 117 million live on under $10 a day per person in the household. Our 25 companies, many of which are in India, have generated returns for investors that have seen Leapfrog become the first equity impact manager to reach $1 billion. But fundamentally, and most importantly, we've demonstrated that wealth and health for emerging consumers, the provision of these essential financial tools and healthcare, are exciting industries that are highly investable, and industries that can open the gates of the capital markets to businesses serving low-income people. Tonight we celebrate Tomorrow we talk. The next day, we at Leapfrog aim to, in the next 10 years, reach 1 billion people with essential tools. And we ask each of you to think big so that we can reach the other 3 billion emerging consumers, so that the 4 billion can be reached with a broad array of essential services, and so that together we can take the leap to profit with purpose. Thank you.
And our Impact Entrepreneur of the Year, I'm very pleased to welcome Dr. Devi Shetty, Narayana Health.
Thank you so much. I have two requests for the impact investors. First request is that when you're making investment on various countries, never underestimate the power of policies. Right policies can save more lives than all the money in this world. I'll give an example. I have scanned the healthcare documents of almost all the developing countries. Even by mistake, they talk about surgery. Developing countries are obsessed with malaria, TB, and HIV. Malaria, TB, and HIV kills only 2.7 million people every year. But lack of access to safe surgery kills 17 million people. I'm not talking about heart operation and brain operation. I'm talking about basic surgeries. Emergency cesarean section for obstructed delivery, laparotomy for burst appendix, and surgery for compound fractures. If we can have this facility in developing countries, we can save 17 million lives. All it requires is the right policies. The second request is, simply there isn't more money than what is available in this world to give better healthcare. There is a hope. Digitize healthcare. Digitizing healthcare will bring healthcare to everyone. It will break the distance between the doctor and the patient and the regulations which is preventing doctors from accessing deserving people. Everything can happen if we digitize healthcare, and that can be done at a fraction of what it costs to build big hospitals. We can dissociate healthcare from affluence by only digitizing healthcare. Thank you very much for this honor. I'm most grateful.
And our final GSG honour this evening, the Impact Market Builder of the Year, goes to the Impact Management Project and Clara Barbie.
Over the last 2 years, over 2,000 organizations around the world came together to see if they could agree on shared fundamentals for how we talk about, measure, and manage impact. It's the linchpin of our market. The debates were feisty, and they were all over the place. We ran focus groups in Myanmar, Belgium, Bolivia, with people who were experiencing change to try and see whether the way that they described their experience was something that could be codified. We had evaluators from South Africa on the phone with institutional fund managers in the US and social scientists in Latin America. This kind of convergence had never happened before. And why did it matter? If we really want to have every business and every investor in the world understanding what they're doing to people and the planet and making it better, we have to get clear and to converge on what it means to have an impact. This effort is not done. In many ways, we've reached base camp. And looking forwards, the Impact Management Project is going to be carried forward by a group of leading standard-setting organizations. I'm sure all of them in some way touch the work that you do. And so we have a great task ahead of us to scale the mountain and continue, and I welcome all of you to join in this effort. So I thank you all and accept this award on behalf of everyone who's participated. I can see faces in the crowd who've had loud voices in what we've done, and to everyone who's not here today. Thank you so much.
Please join me in giving a big round of applause to our GSG Honors for 2018.